Namaskar, Dadaji.
Namaskar.
I'm here talking with Dada Yukteshananda. Tell us, Dada, how did you get involved with Ananda Marga?
I am a born margi. The parents were already margi, so I grew up in a Ananda Marga environment. So by birth, that's I can say. Yeah, so since beginning, I was practicing meditation with my parents. I was also attending Dharma Chakra in local unit. And yeah, that's how I got involved with Ananda Marga. Yes.
So how long before you met Baba or met Baba in some meaningful way rather than just seeing him from a distance?
Yeah, actually, since childhood, I was keep going. I was especially in DMC in Anandanagar. At that time, I was not so mature. But first time I met Baba much closely. I saw Baba in DMC in Bhopal, is the province called Madhya Pradesh in India. No, so there was DMC. There I met him first time. But as I said, I grew up with in a Margi family. But before, we had a photo at my home. It's very young age photo of Baba. So the moment first time I saw him after he came out from the jail in DMC in Bhopal, I could not recognize. I was complaining to my parents that no, this is not my Baba. He's an old man. My Baba was very young. So this is how was my first, interaction with him much closely, I can say.
When did you meet with him personally?
Personally, I met with him during my personal contact, actually, after my Acharya training. Then I met him in the year 1990. So it so happened that I can say how I become, I can share how I become Dada, old timer. I can share a bit. As I said, I grew up in Margi family, so Dadas were visiting, to my house. And, but I never had this desire to become Dada, I was preparing for, for my studies in university. Then after maybe I will get job. This was my dream. When I was in a college, university, already some Dada tried to convince me to become Acharya. Many ways, even some Dadas, I can understand that, it was Baba's pressure. So some Dadas even one Dada bought for me one, how to say, the scientific calculator. Those days, scientific calculator. And I was science student. So, they were trying somehow to convince me, but I couldn't, I couldn't convince by them. And, but suddenly after, I think 10 years, interval, my Acharya, he visited my house. I already graduated from the university and already applied for my post-graduation. So he visited, and then he suddenly said, It was the Shravani Purnima day, the day before Shravani Purnima. The India Shravani Purnima is also a local festival. They celebrate it is a festival of brother and sister, So all my sisters, own sister, cousin sisters, all were there to celebrate next day. And we were preparing for that. So the previous day, Dada came to my house, my acharya, and it was evening time. And then he said, look, you have studied enough. Exactly, I still, it's, in my mind, the word he said, you have, studied enough. Now it's a time to do something for the humanity, something for Baba. So if you want to prepare your mind, you can come with me for WT training. I am going in 3 days later, for Kolkata. This is what exactly. And I don't know, to my surprise, this was so strong, his words, so strong that I could not sleep whole night. I was just turning over on the bed, keep thinking keep bothering me this, now your time has come, you should do something for suffering humanity, for Baba, you prepare your mind if you are ready. So whole night I couldn't sleep. Early in the morning, without telling to my family, I took some of my clothes and I called in the neighbor. I had one friend, I put under the seat my things, the clothes, and I asked him to come with me. I drove up to the local unit, our Ananda Marga school there. And then I wrote a letter. I told him to give this letter to my family after I leave the place, because I didn't want that they can chase after me that time. Especially I was worried about my mother, because mother's always, soft-hearted, she will be worried. So then I left for train station. But there was no train, no direct train, because it was just suddenly I decided to go. So whatever the first earlier train going towards Kolkata, I took that. It's around morning, I think, 10 o'clock something, 9 or 10 o'clock train I took. And I reached to another station. It's 3 hours away from my hometown. And then, as I said, there was no train up to Kolkata. Then I get off there, and I was waiting for another train there. And after a while, I don't know, my mind started getting negative now. I mean, homesickness. I started thinking about mother. If something happened to mother, I didn't say anybody. So I was very much worried. And now this struggle started in my mind. One is pulling me towards Kolkata, one is towards home. And I was very much, stressed with this. But finally, I decided that no, I should go back home. So I bought a train ticket, another. There was local train going back to my hometown. So I bought the ticket. And to occupy my seat, I I didn't get into the train, but to occupy from through the window, I gave my handkerchief to occupy my seat. There was another passenger inside the train. I told him, please keep my seat this, So when the train start, I will get in. So, and after a while, train started moving, and you won't believe that, my legs got frozen. I couldn't move at all. And train started moving. This guy who occupied my seat, he said, hey, come on, train is moving. And I couldn't move. And train left finally. And then after, when train left completely, I started moving. And then again, this struggle is still in my mind, whether I should go home or go to Kolkata. It was so much, I started headache, and then I had some food stuff. I gave to the beggars there on the platform. I gave them because, and there was a basin on a platform, wash basin. I turned on the tap and put my head down to somehow to cool my mind down. But then again, I thought that no. Still, this, especially the mothers, I started remembering so much about her. I was worried about mother. So then I thought, oh, I should check another train. Let's try another attempt. So I checked, there was no train. So suddenly I thought came that, oh, I should try the bus. Maybe there is a bus, So I immediately rushed to the bus terminal. And at the window, they said the bus is leaving. You have to make haste, You have to hurry up. So I bought the ticket and I was running, towards the bus to catch the bus. But bus was just moving, no? And this was the month of July, and it's a rainy season in India, no? An Indian bus terminal, sometimes it's the ground is more like the puddles, the water there on the ground. And when a bus was moving, and I say, hey, stop, I'm coming. And then when the bus passed through this, one of the puddles, and all the water, on the ground splashes on my face. And it's all the dirt, all this, and I couldn't manage properly. I'm rubbing my eyes, trying to see. And then the bus moved. I couldn't still. So this is how I missed the bus. And now I've become very, my mental situation is difficult to state. And then I thought, after a while, I thought suddenly strong, my mind become very strong. After a while, I thought I already made 2 attempts, to go back to home. But it looks like, Baba doesn't want. So then I finally went back to the train station. And now my mind, until that time, I was exhausted, very exhausted, hungry also. It was almost evening now, late afternoon. So I already, but firm, mentally, I exhausted, but very firm that no. Now, whatever will happen, Baba will take care of. If anything happened to mother, anything happened to family, I will now go to Kolkata. So I was waiting I bought a ticket for Kolkata and waiting for the train going to Kolkata. And then I saw my Acharya. Let me tell my Acharya Yukteshananda Avt. He was my Acharya. He's no more now in physical body. He was posted that time in Berlin sector. So maybe I was waiting for the train to Kolkata there. And then maybe he came to know from, the letter until that reached to, and I saw waiting for the train, I noticed that he was on that train. He came out, maybe he was looking at outside, that maybe which train station, because on the way, 2, 3 train stations. So he was always coming out to see outside the door, near the door, train station. And then I saw him standing there looking at me. I saw him immediately. I rushed. He said, "Hey, come, get get on the train." So I immediately get on the train. Then he started, scolding me. "Hey, you are crazy. I told you to wait for 3 days. You didn't say your father. I wanted to talk to your father, mother, and you just left without telling anything." I said, "Dada, I'm sorry. I'm very tired and I want to sleep." So then he had a berth. Somehow he got the berth. He said, "Okay, sleep, upper berth." I went up in the upper berth. I slept. And then the next day morning, we arrived Kolkata. And then all those formalities to, send me to training center. I went training center. This is how, I I become Dada. So I mean to say, if he decided, how, what is my destiny, no force can bar you. That is a very, yeah.
So that's quite a story, Dada. So are there any experiences with Baba you'd like to share with us, or even stories that you know of?
Yeah, okay. So I can share one more story about during my personal contact. Actually, though, as I said, I grew up in a Margi family, but when I grown up, I am now university student. Somehow, I don't know. Of course, I believe Baba, but I was losing this trust, that Baba is really this kind of divine entity. I don't know, it was my maturity or whatever, but very strongly, it's coming in my mind that because the concept of God, Shiva, Krishna, all those kind of, is different concept in your mind. And I didn't study so much philosophy, Ananda Marga philosophy deeply. Of course, some stories and all these things I heard. So I had that concept of God, that, God is, the God does so many miracles, this, that, and all those things, full of divine powers. So I don't know. I thought Baba is of course, realized being, but he's not like a God, something. Or he knows about everything, He can, so something like that. So, and this become much stronger in my mind when I finished my training. Training was short. I don't know. I heard later the trainer Dada was telling that Baba was calling me, to finish my training. So I hardly 2-month training I had, and he called me. Then I went Kolkata again, and then I stayed there for the last part of the training of acharyas, And I noticed that time it was 1990, as I said, Baba also left his physical body in October, and it was first week of October, more or less, So he was that time Baba was very busy, you know, giving personal contacts, RDS, intensive, kind of the meetings, many RDS like this. So I noticed then many new avdhutas, new acharyas getting personal contact, getting posted in fields. So I was seeing all these things those days. So I was also very, curious where I will get posting, all these kind of things. But the moment that time came for my personal contact, it was very strong in my mind. I don't know, very strong that really Baba cares about me. He can recognize me really, something that I exist, and he really has a divine power. He knows everything. So this was very strong. Anyway, I entered, my turn came, I entered in the room. I followed the system, the way, do Sashtang Pranam. And then I sat. And as usual, Baba started, asking very basic questions, and what's your name, where do you live, and all these kind of things. It took few minutes, all these things, but it was not so much like that I was waiting for to hear, something. And I did see nothing, special, nothing, something extraordinary. So, and then Baba started saying, do you remember your house? And outside of that house, there was a creeper, the plant, the creeper. And it was climbing up to the roof, and the flowers, beautiful flowers. And I started thinking what Baba is talking about. I lived in many houses because my father was a government officer. So we always, getting transferred different places. So many houses I lived. I completely forgot, what Baba is telling. I trying to recall, but I couldn't. So, but then same times, as I said, that I thought Baba is just playing some psychological game now, somehow to convince me, he's trying. So he's strong. Then Baba is finally told that, explain a little bit. Then he said, oh, there was one big canal, in front of your house, and yeah, and you climb trees, lot. And then I said, oh, yes, maybe in childhood, everybody climbed the trees. Still, I didn't remember. And then he started saying that, then one day you climb in one berry tree. In India, we call jamun, one kind of blackberry, It's so you climb on that tree, and then you were singing song, and eating those, picking up those berries, eating that with your friend. Then I don't know, I started remembering now. With that very moment when Baba said, you singing song, eat juicy blackberry, like this in Hindi, I was, kale kale jamun khale, like this. So anyways, so, and then I completely, remember everything. Everything. I found that I'm there, I feel clearly I can see that I'm there. And then Baba is saying, okay, you climb up in more, the upper branch, and then suddenly you fell off from the tree. And, that time under the tree, there, what did you see under the tree? Baba said. Then I said, Baba, there were stones, actually the big stones growing under the tree, the stones. It's and but the from a little bit away from the stone, there was the field, the sandy. So I was just falling, on those stones, upside down, don't know, somehow. Then Baba was telling, if you would have fall on those stones, what would have happened? Then I become emotional. I started crying. Hey, Baba, I would not have survived. And then he asked, who saved them that time? I started crying. I said, Baba, you saved me. You saved me, Baba, you saved me. And I started crying like a child. I couldn't control. And, so this is how I felt that time that, when I fell off, I felt that something is thrown away, some force thrown me away from, that I will not fall just, under the tree, little bit far. And I fell on the, the bed, the sand bed, there. The field actually, the field was of sand, And I fell more, my both hands were broken. I fell, my hands like this, and my both hands were broken. And what happened, I tell you, because I was really naughty those days, very naughty. I climbed many trees. So, and do many naughty things, the kids. So I somehow managed, together with my friend, to move that branch and hide somewhere in the bushes, little bit away. Still with other hand, other friend also helped, and I moved that and hide. Why I hide? Because my father, I thought father will be angry on me, very upset because I'm naughty, and he will beat me. So I was worried, so I hide that. And I never speak. So anyway, I reached I went back my home. My hands were so swollen, both hands, And he became very worried. My mother started, worried, and then said, what happened? How did you? I lied to my father. I said, I was playing along the canal, and then one stone was there on the ground, and I just fell off, I struck and I fell off, and that's how I got this. So anyway, what he will do, already hands swollen. I went to the hospital, they put a plaster. This is how. Until the personal contact, I never expressed this thing to anyone else except my friend. But anyway, friend is friend. I told him not to tell anybody. So, that very day, you see, this is how is Baba. He made me completely believe that who he is, all my doubts gone, completely disappeared. Even he can dig out, from your mind that you have been forgotten. He will dig it out, make you remember. This is how is our Baba, So I mean to say, that day, I realized all my confusion gone. No? And that day I felt that, he really cares. And I thought that this is enough for me. This means, I mean to say that I forgot so far, I was 20, 21 years old around, young Dada. And I forgot all the vibration that very moment, he is, was so strong, this vibration of this this ownness of that he's my own Baba, my Baba. This was so strong, this vibration of his love, that for the time being, I forgot all the love, my parental love, you can say, in family I got. It looks like a diminish, the smaller than the vibration I had that moment, so close. And then anyway, other personal things, he called me close and then asked me to sit in his lap. And anyway, so I'm saying that, the important is not that I was thinking about, that time that I realized that, many people, there are many people, powerful persons. They have, perhaps many Avidya practitioners, they have also a lot of powers, this kind of powers. They can do many miracles, but the important is Guru. And his relation with disciple is based on his love towards his disciple. That very bond that connects, disciple and Guru. That's is important. That's love is important. Then the power. Power, anybody can have, many people have power. But that's how, that very day I realized these things. That, and then after I never had any doubt, of course, about this. Of course, it's still maybe some other session. Still, I have frustrations in organization while working due to other situation. And I also have some complaints towards Baba because of that situation. But I never have, I never lost this trust, because this love, this vibration, this is like he trapped us, So this is how is Baba, our Baba.
So what are you doing now, Dadaji?
Currently, I'm sectorial Pracar secretary in GT sector, based in Brazil. In place, we have our master need one. Also, I'm taking care actually the master need as a rector in Ananda Kirtana. If you have heard one of the sectorial master need here near Juji Fora, close to 2 hours from Rio. So here I'm working as a rector.
Thank you very much, Dadaji. That was very inspiring.
Thank you very much, Naradji. Thank you for giving namaskar.